I invested over $30,000 in my brand this year. And if that number makes you uncomfortable, good, because entrepreneurship isn't for people who play it safe. Playing small is the most expensive decision you'll ever make. I'd rather invest in standing out than slowly bleed out by blending in. Because if you won't bet on yourself, why should anyone else bet on you? That's the mindset behind every dollar I put into my brand. For me, it's never about appearances. It's about investing in your brand in a way that earns attention, attracts the right clients, and creates opportunities that compound over time. So today, I'm going to break down the 5 branding mistakes that are costing you business and how fixing them can turn your brand into one of the most profitable investments you'll ever make. Most people think branding is something you do once, slap a logo on it, and you're good to go for the next 10 years. That's not branding, that's complacency. Branding is alive. It evolves as you evolve. And if you're not intentional about it, your brand quietly becomes the very reason your business stops growing. And that brings me to mistake number 1, playing it safe. I get it, safe feels smart in the moment, but in branding, it's the fastest way to become irrelevant. The market doesn't reward safe, it rewards bold. People don't remember the brand that looks like everyone else. They remember the one that disrupts, the one that takes a stand, and the one that shows up with conviction. For me, that's why everything about how I show up matches my brand. My look, my style, the way I carry myself, it's all intentional. I don't just talk bold branding, I am bold branding. Every time I walk into a room or post online. And sure, some people might think it's cocky, too much, or even dramatic. And that's fine. They're not my clients. I'm comfortable and confident in who I am, and I'd rather attract the right people by being unapologetically me than water it down just to please everyone else. So what you need to do is simple. Stop blending in. Build something unmistakable, a brand that makes people lean in or lean out, but never scroll past online and never overlook in real life. Mistake number 2, thinking branding is just a logo. Look, a logo doesn't close deals. A color palette doesn't create trust. Branding is the story you tell, the positioning you own, and the identity that makes people want to work with you before you ever open your mouth. That's why I invested over $30,000 this year. Not in pretty graphics, but in sharpening the message and the perception behind them. I didn't just update a logo. I overhauled my positioning, my website, and my podcast. Everything had to align so when people land on anything I touch, they know instantly what I'm about. So think of it this way. Your visuals should amplify the story, not replace it. Get the story right first. Mistake number 3, copying everyone else. If your brand looks like a watered-down version of your competitor, you've already lost. You don't earn market share by being a knockoff. You earn it by being original, by daring to be different, and by building something that only you can create. That's why I zig when everyone else zags. My content, my podcast, my studio setup, none of it looks like what you see every day online when you're scrolling on social media. That's by design. I don't want to blend in. I want to own my lane completely. So the better play is this. Stop studying competitors to copy them, study them to outdo them. Zig where they zag. Build your brand so distinctively that there is no substitute. Mistake number 4, holding on to an outdated brand. Brands are living things. They grow, evolve, and if you're doing it right, they need to be refreshed. The mistake isn't changing too often. The mistake is clinging to something that no longer reflects who you are and where you're going. The 3 rebrands I did this year weren't signs of confusion, they were signs of evolution. Each one positioned me for the next level. I rebranded not because I was lost, but because I had leveled up. My brand had to catch up to where I was going, not where I had been, and that's the difference. So here's the mindset shift. Refreshing your brand doesn't mean you failed, it means you outgrew the old version. And mistake number 5, treating branding like an expense. This is the deadliest mistake you can make. Most people look at branding and think, too expensive. But what's expensive is being ignored. What's expensive is losing deals because your brand doesn't inspire trust. What's expensive is trying to sell a premium service with a bargain bin identity. That's why I continually invest in my brand. Not because I enjoy writing checks, but because I know every dollar will multiply over time. And here's the thing. I don't just talk about investing in branding. I live it. From my website, to my podcast, to how I show up in person, every piece is intentionally designed to align. Because when your brand is consistent across every touch point, it builds trust before you even say a word. That's not an expense. That's leverage that pays you back. So the truth is this, branding isn't a line item on your expense sheet. It's the asset that makes every other investment pay off. So let's call it like it is. Safe brands get skipped. Copycat brands get ignored. Outdated brands get left behind. And brands treated like an expense never get taken seriously. The only brands that win are the ones that are bold, intentional, and treated like the long-term investments they are. So there it is, the 5 branding mistakes that are costing you business. Don't hide behind good enough. Don't settle for blending in. And don't wait until it's too late to evolve. Build bold, refresh when you outgrow it, treat your brand like the asset that it is, because it pays you back every single day. And here's the part most people miss. Branding doesn't just live on a website or in a logo. It's full 360. The way you look, the way you show up, your style, and your presence in real life. All of this is reinforced through your content, your videos, and every time you get behind the mic on your podcast. So if you're serious about building a brand that commands attention and you want to reinforce it with the right content and a podcast that puts you everywhere your clients are, DM me on Instagram at Bill Corcoran Jr. or hit me up at billcorcoranjr.com. Thanks for watching until the end. I cover a lot here, but the conversation doesn't stop with the podcast. I post daily on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Bill Corcoran Jr. with quick hits, behind the scenes, and the raw stuff that doesn't always make it into the podcast. Follow along there, and for deeper dives, head over to billcorcoranjr.com.